Okay, seems to have started. Hi, the Tech Rabbit here. A little bit calmed down after yesterday's bit chaotic ending. Anyway, back to this robot arm, and made a few observations and adjustments. And I thought I'd just go through those because those are the final steps. The first thing I did is I went through all the moving connection points and made sure that they're not too tight. And then I think I covered everything else in the video yesterday. Hope I did. It was a bit chaotic, helicopters and everything. Okay, but anyway, anyone was talking about needing to extend one of the wires. Actually, it turned out that the package did contain one servo wire extension cable. I actually forgot that existed, so that actually solved. I didn't need to make my own extension cable for the claw servo motor. So that was quite nice. Then I did some cable management. So as you see, show maybe like this. Put the cables going through the holes that are in the plexiglass to like come down better, and then exit down here, so that then when the arm moves, then it doesn't foul on the cables. Then also here I noticed that I missed this, the one supposed to like put the cable through, the servo cable should go through those on both sides. Anything else? Yeah, and then it kind of works. I do think that the servo for the what is called the short arm, which is this one here, is actually too underpowered, because it does this jittering noise. But I think it's okay. I mean, for the price point, and it's a 5-volt servo with no positioning feedback, so yeah, one can't really expect it to be. So for example, and then also if you just leave it like this, just standing, then it will do small adjustment movements, because it's the servo gets a certain pull switch modulation signal from the Arduino, and then it tries to like say, okay, based on this division of the the ratio between the time it is 1 and the time it is 0, then that defines the position of the servo. So then you get a bit of jitter, but it's not that. I mean, for something as cheap as this, it's not that bad. And the connector down here that we soldered on, that's actually it actually has a marking on the circuit board. It's for Bluetooth. So I think they sell a Bluetooth module. But again, this is the issue. Do they the firmware that you load onto the Arduino? Then where's that code then? I suppose that you would have to download it. I do think that the code is available for the logic that's the potentiometer logic. I think that's if I actually went to their site, I think it is actually available. I haven't actually downloaded it because I didn't need it for this. I didn't need to download the source code for this project. And then the last little thing is I couldn't help it, but I added a laser to the end of the arm, just for the fun of it. No one can see it targeting. I was able to take you have ground and plus 5 volts there, so then I was able to feed it. So I suppose one could use that connector to feed some other accessories that one adds to the robot. Yeah. So I think that kind of wraps up this build, and I do think that it works. I did have, I did have to move the base plate one notch, just to be able to, when you swing it from one side to the next, so that it would actually have the full movement cycle as equal as possible on each side. So then I had to actually unscrew it and move it one notch. I think the short arms servo, which is this one, is actually it's a shorter movement servo, so I think it's quite easily positioned in a position where it's out of its reach, and then you get that juddering sound. Yeah, now it got very hot when I had it. But I suppose that's the compromise. That is the compromise when one makes one deals with this. I mean, I paid very little for this, so yeah, now you can see the jittering that it makes. Servo's trying to like figure out if they're in the correct position or not. And as I said, the short arm servo I think is a bit underdimensioned. I mean, the 5-volt servo won't give you that very much big torque to be able to actually hold position. And the thing is, the servo hasn't got an internal feedback mechanism to know exactly where it's positioned either. So it will change its try and change its position based on the pulse width modulation input signal and its ratio to the internal mechanics. So might not always end up guessing where it's supposed to be. So I thought I don't know. I thought this was a fun project, and now I might do some follow-up projects on this. We'll see. I do have a few plans, and that was to either reprogram the existing logic that it is. No, I've got too many projects to have time for. I suppose that's what makes these things fun. Yeah, probably my sons will play with this. So see if I get it back to be repaired. Even though I think it's relatively sturdy. Okay, but that wraps up the I think that wraps up the robot arm build. I don't think there was any other issues or comments that I have. I suppose I could give it like an 8 out of a 10 as a kit. Basically the points were taken away to the instructions weren't that great. And then parts not fitting is also, or some of the parts needing adjustment to be able to even fit together. But it, I suppose, again comes down to how much one is prepared to pay. There are these I mean, if you search for robot arm on the internet, there are so many kits, and everything from this Plexi thing with just a potentiometer control to those that are full metallic with programming interfaces and everything. I think this is a good start. Oh yeah. So we'll see. Maybe I'll come up with some game or something that could be made to work in combination with the laser, or something like that. Okay. See you guys later.